Hey everybody, it's Baby Wiggs. This is going to be my very first review video. I've never done a review on any game before, but I figured it's a brand new game and it'd be a good opportunity to do so. So we are reviewing today the game from Microsoft Studios, Arcane, and Bethesda. It's called Redfall, and it's basically about surviving against the vampires, right? It really looks like a State of Decay-ish type survival game, but it's first person. It really does feel like Back 4 Blood, but anyways, we're gonna get right into it. They have different characters. They all have 3 different skills that you can use, and there's nothing really insanely interesting in my opinion about any of them. I'm using the first one that we've seen. I believe his name was Jacob. But like I said, it really does feel like Back 4 Blood. On first look, it looks exactly like Back 4 Blood for me. It feels like Back 4 Blood. The enemies are kind of silly. I mean, I thought the opening cinematic was decent, but it was nothing crazy good. The graphics aren't that great. We're not going to spend the whole video just talking about the graphics, but there is definitely a lot there to talk about. First off, I do think it's kind of silly. In the beginning, you see the vampires don't want nobody to leave, so they somehow have control of the ocean. That doesn't make any sense. Never seen that before. But as far as combat, in my opinion, I'm a big fan of FPS shooters, and the gunplay here is anything but fluid. Switching the guns is great. Switching the guns, it's real quick. Reloading ain't too bad. I just feel like there's something off about the shooting. There's a lot of issues with that, in my opinion. I don't really like it at all. Honestly, the enemies, they're really easy to take down, no matter the difficulty. They're not very, very smart. They very rarely take cover. Like you just seen there, that you'll maybe see that 1 or 2 times for the rest of the video. They don't really take cover a whole lot. Now, why I said this game reminds me of Back 4 Blood is because you can go to your little home base, you can pick your main missions. Obviously, I haven't got very far because I just started the game, but I lost my interest very quickly. I maybe played 30 to 45 minutes of my first session before I just actually counted it out. You see here, you can literally toy with the enemies who are supposed to be like the bane of humanity. Everyone's dying and getting turned into vampires, and this is what it is. This is what you fight. You just punch them a few times, maybe shoot them once, and that's that. Even in groups, the vampires are not very deadly. They're really not hard to fight. Now, let's be honest, graphics don't always matter in video games, but when the game isn't very engaging at all, you start to look at the graphics a little bit closer, and if neither are very good, it's kind of hard to really get into the game. The one thing I will say that I do like is the RPG type system with the inventory. You can switch your weapons around. I don't see anything about stats yet. Like I said, didn't play a very, very long time. But I do like they've got little bonuses like the Vampire God Remnant and the Blood Remnant. I earned a Blood Remnant earlier. It's a very simple game, to be honest. I mean, it really feels like it wants to be a zombie game at heart. Like, it really feels, and that's why you will keep hearing Back 4 Blood references from me, because it really does feel like it wants to be a zombie survival game. Now, if you like survival games, this probably will be the game for you. I'm not huge into survival games. Honestly, I haven't played a brand new Bethesda game since Fallout 76. They really messed up on that one, and I can see, from my opinion, it looks like they haven't learned any of their lessons from that. A big part of combat is obviously, like any survival game, you have to watch your medicine and stuff like that. I think with the proper amount of medicine, I mean, I could have fought these guys with no issue. You can really kite a lot of the enemies too, like just run in one direction, they'll all follow you, and you could just kind of like turn around and hit a corner and just mess them up. This is a big issue that I have, being able to phase right through a door just by breaking the glass when there's clearly a bar there. It's not a huge issue. I know some of you are probably like, oh, come on, Wiggs, you're going to pick at that. But it's when I play games, I like to be really immersed in the world, and it's hard to immerse in a world when something so small could have been fixed. I don't know any game that does that. One-on-one, I do think that the vampires should have been a little bit harder to battle with because, with a shotgun, you can just kind of sit there and just light them up, and you just run up to them and stake them. Now, in my opinion, the exploration is pretty cool. You can run around and grab different stuff, but the biggest factor that's going to make me play this game is the fact that I can earn new achievements on my Xbox profile. And anybody who's big into achievements, hey, grab the game up. It's free. It's on Game Pass. And I can really appreciate Xbox for that. Having a game on Game Pass where I don't have to spend $70 like I would on another system. I could just uninstall it right away just as quickly as I installed it. In combat, it can be kind of fun when you're fighting a bunch of enemies to just kind of run around and obliterate everyone with a shotgun. Once you get close enough, you can kind of just leap onto them and one-tap them, and they're pretty much done with a shotgun. I do like the fact that you can use the surroundings to damage enemies, and it's not just to kill one enemy or just to kill enemies, and actually damage you as well. So it creates a little bit of an interesting element there. But I think there's just too little of that to carry the game. It's not enough to put on a billboard or anything like that. It's nothing super crazy. As you can see here, I did get a little bit better at the combat, so you could run around and it speeds up a little bit. I won't sit here and lie and say the entire game is at a slug's snail pace, but the thing I did have an issue with is this ability right here. This ability right here, we're going to replay the clip. Jacob can use his crow to show you where enemies are, or at least that's what the game has it listed as. And there were enemies up on this pier, and the crow didn't show me much of anything. And this is not just on one occasion. It's actually multiple occasions that that's happened. But if I'm using the Raven wrong, hop into the comments and let me know. I could be just ignorant as to how the skill works. So back to exploration. In exploration, it is cool for a little bit to run around a little town or whatever, but when you're trying to get across the map, it is excruciating, especially when you have to watch this running mechanic that it honestly feels like it's a gen or even 2 gens ago. I know 360 games that have better visuals on the running itself. Not that that's a huge issue. Which is not a huge issue, but the map is a good, decent size. So with all the vehicles littered around it, I would like to use something. I don't know if it's like a lore standpoint where, hey, the vampires disable our vehicles or whatever. But I think it's very silly. You definitely should be able to drive around. Look at this. This is the whole parking lot, not a yard, but a parking lot full of vehicles. You tell me not one single car has gas? In conclusion to everything, the game could get better. The AI isn't very strong, graphics aren't very strong, gunplay isn't very good. But, I didn't pay any money for it. It was free on Game Pass. So I guess we'll just have to see what Arcane and Bethesda decides to do with the game. But in my opinion, this should never have been released. This is a very, very mediocre game, especially for the gen that we're in now. This should have been stopped at the drawing board. Now, I'm sure there's people who won't agree with me because a lot of people are playing it. I see a lot of people like it, but a lot of people don't like it. And hey, look, a lot of people are watching it on Twitch. It was at 100-something thousand viewers just less than 24 hours ago. But hey, just go ahead and give it a try for yourself. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Tell me if you think I was too harsh on the game. And thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it.